Want to come back, I told you I was going to do and forgot to. So this is where we had everything set up. I still got some clamps in place, but I went and took the window liner off because I wanted to show you how I cut the windshield and about how far it was. You can barely see it. My line started about right here, and I came up here, then I came up across here, and then quit right here. It was already far enough away. Now you can see we actually ended up a little further even when we finished up than that 1.5 inches there when we did the final fit. This windshield is sitting just as it was when I did it. So really it's about, not quite. Yeah, about 1 5/8 inches maybe over from the 1.5 inch line. So 1.5 inches. Yeah, this is only inch critical here, not really critical, but that's where you want to have your liner start, and then just kind of wherever it works out. But you'll see here it's going to end up being, it's going to end up being from here to here about a little over 1.5 inches when you get done. But you can see here then that ends up leaving me, see if I can get up a little higher without falling. You can see here how far we are from that line. And you notice I did draw this line around the outside of the window liner. I did that to start with. So I know that's the outside of my window line. And of course you can see the holes, which should be pretty much the same, but they are different because of the angle. The angle of the window liner is different here. But in any case, you'll see up here in the front, you end up with the center one is about 1 inch and almost 1.25 inches probably there. Then you can see here, I'm just gonna measure it from the holes. So you can see here, about 1.5 inches. I mean, it's about what, 5/8, trying to look through this camera right there. See where we're at there? It's like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th hole over, about that far. And remember, the windshield goes straight down into it from here, so it's not as important over here, but this is the area that was hitting before. So here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th hole. So let's say the 7th hole is about right at, well, it's about the same distance. And here we're going down to the 8th hole. See there? As we go on around. And it's actually staying about the same. I can get it up underneath there. You can see where the inch starts. So yeah, it's about the same all the way around. This outside edge. That was the same. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same distance. It doesn't look like it for some reason, but it seems to be about a half here. And yeah, well, no, I mean, yeah, because we're 1 inch. Here we're 1 inch. And it's hard to see through this camera. 1 1/8 inches at the top. We're back to our, we dropped down to our, not quite 5/8, but pretty close to it right there. And I think it stays the same pretty much around, this way. So this was the area again. So you see that's how far you want to keep it. Off of the line right here in this corner. Off of the line, it's just almost 1 inch. Off of the line, that's the front of the liner. And obviously it'd be the same on the other side. See? So I've already pulled the clamps off of this side, so it came up a little bit, but it's the same. I did want to mention one thing too. Be careful when you're drilling plastic. Don't put pressure on the drill very much. Put easy pressure. Don't go real fast with the bit, but go drill slow. Any of the holes you're drilling here, go slow. And you can crack this. If you're putting a lot of pressure on it, you can crack it. And if the drill bit gets caught in there and jumps or something, it can crack it. So especially on those on the top where you're real close, and these on the edge where you'll be, real close. I'm going to drill these first, and then I'm going to cut my line. And again, we mark the line right. I'm going to mark that line right here. I just put a couple marks, and I'm going to put a straight edge along it. And then I'm going to move it in about 1/8 inch. So I'll be about 1/8 inch away from this joint here. I'll be 1/8 inch with the windshield. And when the window, when I install it, I'll install it at 1/8 inch back too, okay, across there. So it'll be a little bit of a distance right there. There's going to be a piece of trim piece that's going to go over the windshield right here to cover this. So it'll go right to that joint, and then you'll come back this way. And again, with plastic, cut slow. If you're cutting the plexiglass, cut slow, drill slow. Don't put pressure on it. And also, one of the things you got to be sure, and what happens microscopically is you'll get a micro fissure or crack around where you're drilling something or cutting. And that's why you'll always see it's very important around the edges. If you're drilling a hole, you want to use countersinks and countersink it a lot. You want to make sure your waste coil, what we're doing is cutting all those fractures out in the way, so we're not putting the stress on there. Any little stress is going to happen on plastic is going to actually, any little fissure that's microscopic almost is going to make it fissure and crack out. So that's the importance of a good countersink, both sides. And then on the edges, like where they show you, like where I made all these cuts, I'll come back and sand these edges and round these edges all off. I saw Mitch use the edge of his knife. That does, you can scrape it too, especially with a serrated blade. Makes it nice. You just put it down in one of those serrated edges and go around it. But I'll just use a Dremel. I got a Dremel with a sanding drum on it. I'll just kind of do that and sand the edge of it. And same thing on these edges here. So that's just something to watch because it can crack, and ask me how I know.